Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to go live. What am I missing? Oh, there it is. Got it. Got it. Got it. All right, put that on now. All right, awesome, awesome. All right, so first off, um, should I show you the price action or should I go over the current events? Let's go over the current events really quick. Let's get that out the way. Then I'll show you the price action over the weekend, and I guess that works out because the current events is going to segue into the price action. So let's do current events first. Then we'll go into the price action. Then we'll do the challenge, and we'll catch up on those days. So the first thing, obviously, dollar and oil. So pop quiz, guys. Pop quiz. And I made sure not to look this up. I did not want to look this up beforehand. I don't want to cheat. I want to see this exactly when you see it. All right. But when I saw this article, I knew it was a pop quiz. So let me set it up first. I'm going to give you the cheat sheet before I give you the pop quiz. So I showed you guys, if not last week, I showed you the week before. So here's the first question in the pop quiz. Is the dollar directly correlated with the stock market?
I want to say that you said no.
Okay, lovely, lovely. Okay, so what is the commodity that connects the dollar and the stock market?
Oh, the oil.
There we go. There we go. So that was just a setup. Here's the real pop quiz. Causal sequence, guys. Let's see who's been listening. Let's see who can do it in their brain. This is saying that the dollar is firm. That means the dollar value, the dollar strength has been increasing. But interestingly, it's also saying that the stock market is increasing. So can anybody tell me what's going on? With the information that we know that we just went over, how can the dollar and the stock market be going the same direction? And I want somebody other than Lisa. She's the only one answering.
Because the dollar and the oil are correlated.
Yeah, but that's not specific enough. Good morning, Eric. And Eric, I still not have forgot about you, bro. I had a very busy weekend. I literally thought about you every single day. I got to get with Eric. I got to get with Eric. I have not forgot about you, Eric. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. I will reach out with you today. I got a lot of stuff off of my plate over the weekend, so I'm definitely gonna reach out to you today. Just thank you for your patience, but I have not lost sight of you. So your answer is correct, Damien. But I'm looking for a little bit more.
Yeah, are you
What do they say in school? Show me your formula. Like I want to see your work.
let's
The
see.
answer is right. Go ahead. Anybody.
Yeah, so are you talking about the fact that U.S. is number one producer of oil now, and then the because of the increase in oil and it helps the strength of the dollar because they're the number one producer now.
Now, like I said, I didn't look it up. So you're giving me you're working through it, but I'm not trying to go that far. I just
Hmm.
want you guys to realize like the default answer. How is it possible for the dollar and the stock market to go up at the same time? There's a word that I'm looking for. I'm going to show it to you after you guys answer, but I just want to see if anybody can work out the answer on their own. It's okay if you get it wrong. I'm going to show you the answer either way. And then once I show you the answer, you're never going to get it wrong again. Anybody want to fall? Because that's basically what it is. I want to see you fall. That way, when I pick you back up, you'll never fall again.
Mm-hmm.
There's this one word. All right, so let's walk you through it. Let's break it down to smaller steps. What is the stock market correlated with?
The interest rates.
Okay, yeah, not the direction I'm going, but still a good answer, still correct. What else is the stock market correlated with?
It's not all. What is
Yeah,
it?
oil.
Yeah.
That's what I showed you 2 weeks ago. Oil. Second question. What is the dollar correlated with?
Interest rates.
Interest rates.
Also correct. What else is the dollar correlated with?
Oil.
There we go. Let's recap. The dollar's correlated with oil. The stock market's correlated with oil. So whatever happens with oil, think about this. Whatever happens with oil, the dollar and the stock market are being affected at the same time. And that's the reason why the dollar and oil have always been negatively correlated. Because when the oil goes up, dollar goes one direction, stock market goes the other direction. So how is it possible? What's happening with oil where the dollar and stock market are going the same direction? Something happened with oil.
Increase
This
in
is one word I'm looking for.
supply. Increase in supply.
Oversupply.
Think about the correlation. If the oil is correlated with the dollar and the oil is correlated with the stock market, something happened with the correlation.
Manipulation.
It's overproduction, so it's inverted.
Yeah, I love the inverted. That means you're catching that it's positive and negatively correlated. Let me give you another hint. What is the old dynamic of oil and dollar?
An inverse relationship.
Okay. What is the new dynamic of oil and dollar?
That they're correlated together.
Okay. So what happens when the dollar and oil relationship converts to the old dynamic and the new dynamic? What is that word called? It's going. Say again.
Confluence? No.
Now let me walk you through it again. The dollar and oil are going the same direction. New dynamic. But I showed you guys all of last year. Sometimes it switched. It switched over to the old dynamic. What is that switch called? Like I said, guys, once I show it to you, you will never get this question wrong again. The dollar and oil are going the same direction. And then we look at we pop up the WTI, we pop up the DXY, we're looking at the correlation. Oh my goodness, it just changed. It's no longer correlated. What is that called when it's no longer correlated? No problem. Now I give the answer. It's called decoupling. Let me go ahead and share this with you guys. The correlation will decouple. Two assets have a normal pattern of correlation. And then when they switch, it's called decouple. You'll see decouple with the dollar and oil, which we showed you. you'll see a decouple with two currencies. Sometimes the decouple might be for a short duration. And then as we see with the prime correlation, sometimes you get a brand new correlation. But it will couple and decouple depending on what's happening in the markets. So now I've given you all the pieces. So let me ask the question again. What happened with the oil? If the dollar and the stock market are moving in the same direction, what happened with the oil?
It looked like it increased over the weekend.
I'm talking about this keyword.
It decoupled from the dollar.
And that's what I don't know. You said the right thing, but I don't know. Did it decouple from the dollar or did it decouple from the stock market? Are you with me now?
Great question. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
We don't know which one.
we
And
don't
that's
really
why,
know. Yeah.
exactly. And that's why I didn't look it up. I wanted to look it up with you guys. But when I saw the headline, I knew that there was a decouple because there's no way that the dollar and stock market should be going the same direction. Are you with me now, guys?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And that's what I mean. Sometimes the signal is right there looking at you. The markets are screaming at you. And because you don't know, you're missing the opportunity. As soon as I saw the article, let me go ahead and bring that up and let me show my students this. As soon as I saw the dollar and the stock market go in the same direction, I knew the oil either decoupled from the dollar or decoupled from the stock market. And like I said, we're going to look it up, but let me ask you this final question. Which one is more likely?
To decouple from the stock market? No.
And I'll tell you why. Because historically, because what did I show you when we were looking over the dollar oil dynamic and new dynamic? The dollar and oil is the one that typically couples and decouples.
Mm-hmm.
Stock market kind of stays in place with the oil. So it's more likely, not saying that that's what's happened, we're going to look it up, but more than likely it's more so that dollar oil. So that's what we're going to look up first. Did everybody learn something today?
Yes, decouple.
Yeah.
So it's not due to productivity from OPEC, so it's got to be the other.
Well, let's see. Well, like I said, if you ever see it, guys, look, and keep in mind, isn't this the prime correlation? As soon as I saw the dollar, bing, I already knew the oil was involved. I know the two main characters. I know that's now going to affect the markets. So now let's go back and what do I tell you guys? It's a movie. Let's go back and look at the prequel. We know what the current movie is doing, but sometimes, and I'll give you an example, guys. There's certain shows on Netflix that I love to watch. Right? Now, I'm always hoping that they don't cancel my shows on Netflix, but they have, reoccurring TV shows on Netflix, right? But sometimes it takes so long for the next season to come out. Sometimes I'm waiting for a whole year and a half for these TV shows to come out with the next season. So do you know what I do? Now, they're going to give a recap, right? They try to give like a recap, but you want to know what I sometimes do? I go back and watch the last episode of the last season, just to kind of familiarize myself where the story is going. Does anybody else do this, or am I the only crazy one?
No, I do that. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes I rewatch the whole thing.
that's what I'm telling you guys to do right now. Let's go back and look at the prequel. Where did the story end off? So we'll better understand where the story is going. So let's look it up. Let's go to the markets. I'm gonna duplicate this because I still want to show you the price action from earlier today. I'm watching you, Eric. I appreciate your comments. Live Nature, are you Sendell? Live Nature, what's your first name? I want to welcome you to the room if you're still here. All right, let's go ahead and duplicate this tab. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and load in. We're going to load in the WTI first, which is futures, WTI, which is our oil. So let's go ahead and load that in. And then on the second, no data. Give me a second, guys. Oh, I chose the wrong one. Let's try that again. Oil futures. There we go. There it is. And now we're going to load in the DXY as well. Bing, bing, bing. And now we're able to correlate the markets. Right? I'm going to go and hit 1 day. Actually, let's do 5 days. All right. What does this look like to you guys?
It doesn't look too, I guess, well, I don't know.
Exactly.
There's
Even
some
I can't
parts.
tell. Yeah,
There's some
even I can't tell. Like there's no definitive. Now I'll be honest with you. It decoupled. No, it was coupled around the 3rd and 4th.
Right,
Right around
exactly.
around that 4th, it decoupled,
Yeah.
and then it recoupled back at the 6th. So the entire 5th, the 4th and 5th, it decoupled.
Yeah.
And then it kind of came back on the 6th. And then the 7th, I think it decoupled, but it shows you the erratic behavior. So this is decoupled. No other way to look at this. If you don't see a definitive going the same direction over multiple days, it's wonky. So this explains why the dollar and the stock market are going the same direction. It's always going to be the dollar and oil. And oil is always the first, the primary character. I love the prime correlation, guys. Nobody else knows this. And I'm going to keep reiterating. Good morning, Mikey. I appreciate you, my friend. Nobody knows about the prime correlation, guys. And you guys, every single time you use it, I'm being completely honest with you. Every single time you use the prime correlation, you should feel grateful and thankful and special. Nobody knows that the two main characters of the stock market is the dollar and the oil. These people are out here blindfolded, following other people, speculating on everything. We know what's going to happen. We can go back to the prequel and look at the dollar and oil and know those are the two main characters, the Adam and Eve of every story.
Hey, Coach, how much do you think big tech plays a part of this? Since a lot of them have businesses overseas. So from what I've read in the article that the dollar has risen, so that makes the currencies, other foreign currencies much cheaper. So it's impacting their business. Do you think the speculation is too big due to the fourth quarter, deep seek and all that other stuff that kind of threw things off?
I love the question. So let's do causal sequence. I really haven't done it up to this point because I tell you guys that I don't want to speculate. And if you're going by tariffs, that's speculation. It's not in place yet. But let's go ahead and speculate just to kind of prove the causal sequence. Let's assume that the tariffs are going to go in place. And Trump did say that he was going to implement the tariffs today. So let's just assume that, 3 days from now, and keep in mind the tariffs are in place in China. And that's going to directly, and we showed you this last week. We showed you an article last week that the European markets are going to be affected by the tariffs going into China. So we can use a little bit of causal sequence. So think about this. If tariffs are going in place of shipping things back and forth to different countries, that's going to affect every trade agreement across the globe. And what is involved with that trade agreement? Shipping the products back and forth. What is the key? What is the prime understanding of shipping something to another country?
Cost and energy.
You said the energy, more specific.
Definitely the oil.
Go ahead and say it.
Definitely the oil.
You got it, right? So the oil, for main character, It's the moment they start talking about trade agreements, we're going to need more oil. We're going to need less oil. I'm not going to ship as much. We're going to cut back on our shipping. We don't want to, all of this is going to affect how much oil is being used. Oil is immediately affected. And then what's the other part of that trade agreement? What are the exchange rates? And what does the exchange rates track back to?
Dollar
The dollar. Prime
interest.
correlation, guys. So even as they're talking about all of the tariffs, we still know that the two main characters is a prime correlation. And while everybody out here is speculating on the front end, we sit back. We can look at the dollar, look at the oil, and we know how it's going to affect the tariffs and how the tariffs are going to affect it. And now, if you guys really think, when I first gave you the roadmap course, what questions did I give you? Does anybody remember this? I gave you guys, now you don't have to remember the exact questions, but does anybody remember the questions that I gave you? And you guys are probably confused when I gave you those questions. Does anybody remember the questions that I gave you in the roadmap dealing with the
I
prime
do.
correlation?
I do remember those. It was like, how does the dollar affect this event? Or how did the event affect oil? How did the event affect the dollar? There was two more. I can't remember what they were, but just off the
No,
top.
you got it. And
Yeah.
that's what we just did right now. The trade agreements are going to be affected by the dollar and oil. And then the trade and the dollar and oil is going to be affected by the trade agreements. That same question is in all of the courses because it's the prime correlation. And like I said, you guys probably looked at those questions and like, oh man, I don't understand that. You understand it now 2 years later.
Right. We do, because I didn't understand it at first. I was like, what? I don't know. But now I get it. Yeah.
Now you get it.
It took a while.
I love it, guys. I absolutely love when I'm teaching and that light bulb goes off. And I'm going to keep saying it. Nobody else has the prime correlation. They are lost. Gambling. I hope the markets do this. Between the prime correlation and the causal sequence, you guys have superpowers. And that is not an exaggeration. And I'll even add the supply chain. Between those three things.
Yeah, they had talked about that a lot. That's starting to get a lot of traction. Well, I mean, at least the topic. I don't think anybody's really looking at it because it's talking about more of the politics and the impact. But I think as far as the causal sequence, that supply chain with these tariffs that we talked about last week, the slow drip, that's going to be real something because they're all of a sudden comparing the engineering handicaps that the Panama has based off of what they can build in Gaza. So they're saying, well, remember when that boat went sideways?
Well,
We in Panama we don't have enough room, so they try to build up that story.
Roy, I'm loving that you brought it up. I gotta talk about it now. So I'm gonna find a way to get all of this in. But since you brought it up, I gotta talk about it. Oh my goodness, I gotta add it to the curriculum today. But don't feel bad. I'm loving it. I love that you guys are bringing up these current events. It was not something I was gonna introduce, but you brought it up, so let's talk about it. Let's give another causal sequence. So right now, and there's two main events that I want you guys to get out of this. Number one, and I might even post a video in the WhatsApp about this because I saw a video on it on YouTube this weekend. So if you guys go look at the history lesson, the U.S. used to own the Panama Canal. All right, and I'll try to find that video. It gave like a history lesson. The French was the ones that started excavating. I guess that's the word for it. Excavating the Panama Canal. They went bankrupt. I think it was about 5,000 or 5,500 people lost their lives creating the Panama Canal. and the French went bankrupt with, whatever money they allocated to that project, they went bankrupt. Um,
I've got a good TikTok video. I might have posted it in the room last
yeah.
week, but I can find it and
What
repost it.
what is the country right below Panama Canal?
Colombia.
Okay, Colombia. So Colombia allowed Panama to annex itself. So Colombia owned Panama and the Panama Canal. But when the French came in, whatever deal they made, they allowed Panama to annex itself as a separate country. The French went
Uh,
bankrupt. The U.S. came in, took over the project. They finished, and
hey,
then
hey,
and then
coach.
the
Could,
deal
could I
was that the U.S. would own it. No, go ahead,
could I clarify that a little bit?
please, please, please.
The way I recall it is, the French came in and they worked with Colombia to work on the canal, and when that fell through in true fashion, America came in to help prop up Panama to get their independence.
Hmm.
And then when they got their independence, we came in and said, "We're going to build this canal for you."
Yep. And it's similar to what they did with the oil companies in the Middle East. We're gonna come in like the savior,
Yeah,
and not knowing that the deal was you're gonna give us the majority of the money.
it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, the
So,
playbook gets played over and over and over.
oh yeah, same master plan over and over again. So what happened was some kind of now the deal that they made had a time limit on it. At least Panama was smart enough to put like a 50-year time limit or something like that. So when that came due, Panama got its independence from the U.S. But I'm telling you, the U.S. was making billions off the Panama Canal. Otherwise, they had to go all the way around South America. Well, Trump is now making statements that he wants the Panama Canal back. You guys can go look up the articles. He mentioned this very recently that he wants to try to get the Panama Canal back. I don't know what plan he has in place, but you guys can do your own research and deep dive that. The other part is um, they're trying to build a similar, and I think this is what Roy was talking about. They're trying to build a similar canal in the Mediterranean, and I'm going to try to show you the image on it, and I'm gonna tie in the where Gaza fits into this. So I'm gonna put in Mediterranean
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Canal Project. Let me see if I can show you guys an image. Yeah, so right here. Let me blow this up. I'm just gonna go to the website, see if I can show it to you. So yeah, right here, they're trying to do now the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal is identical to the Panama Canal. It stops people from having to travel all the way around Africa. So you can get from the Red Sea or the and I'm so good with I'm really bad with seas. So is that the Atlantic?
Mm-mm.
If you want to,
The
huh?
Mediterranean and the Red Sea.
Well, below the Red Sea, what ocean is that?
Oh, that's not the Atlantic.
Is
Is that the?
it's not
It's,
Indian
I was
Ocean,
gonna say,
Indian
is that
Ocean.
the Indian? Hmm.
Yeah, it's the Indian Ocean. So if you want to get from the Indian Ocean, which is where all of the Southeast Asian countries, African countries, they're all going through the Indian Ocean. So if you want to get to the Mediterranean Sea from the Indian Ocean, you don't have to travel all the way around Africa. You can go right through the Suez Canal.
And one of the differences with this one is the plan is for it to allow traffic going in both directions.
Well, that's what I'm going to bring in right now
Oh, okay.
because Gaza has you see that Ben Gurion, they're trying to build another canal through Gaza, And
Yep.
that is one of the, we talked about this early last year. I showed an article. If you ever wanted to find out why Gaza got attacked, it was because of that second canal they wanted to build.
Yep. It's diabolical.
Diabolical. Millions of people are losing their lives because they want to make money off of a canal, a project that hasn't even started yet. So, like I said, Roy introduced the concept. I wanted to show it to you. They're going to build a second canal, or that's the project that they want to build a second canal through Gaza. So now, I don't know who owns the Suez Canal, doesn't matter, but whoever owns the Gaza region, and now you see why Trump wants it. They want to be a part of that project of building that second canal. And like I said, if Panama is making billions,
I believe Egypt owns the Suez.
I think you are correct. You are correct. When I saw that video, that's what they said. Egypt owns it, but they're now trying to build another canal through Gaza. So I want to thank you, Roy. Like I said, we had time. I want to make sure everybody understands. And once again, this is all coming back to causal sequence, to the global supply chain. Like I said, we can see it. And now when you guys see articles, because we know people aren't going to look this up. Everyone's just looking at their crypto. Everyone's looking at their charts. No one's out here looking up the real information, finding the causal sequence. I hope everybody on YouTube is understanding this. If you guys have questions, let me know. All right, so we have a little bit of time to do that. Now I want to show you. I don't want to, because I want to leave time. I want to be done with this, and I want to be able to do the challenge. So I got to leave time for that. We got about another 20 minutes. So let me see if I can get all of the articles in here. I don't want to leave anything out. So yeah, we understand the dollar and why the dollar and the dollar and the stock market are going the same direction. Now, let me reiterate something, because we brought in that whole canal thing and it kind of sidetracked me. I did want to reiterate something, guys. So once again, we went through that causal sequence of tariffs, right? We showed you the causal sequence of how this moves and all of that. So let me reiterate this. Only analyze what is already in place. Everybody is speculating on the tariffs. Everybody's trying to jump ahead on what the tariffs are going to do and not going to do. Does anybody want to echo what I've been saying for 2 weeks? What do we want to do when it comes to tariffs and other things that Trump might try to introduce?
Wait and see if they actually implement it.
There we go. Our job is to analyze current laws and policies, not the speculation of a new law and policy. Let everybody else do that. That's what's making the markets crazy. Every given day, typically multiple times a day, they're changing directions on, because Trump is changing his decisions, or and we're going to talk about that in a second as well, or other people are conflicting with his executive decisions. So let me kind of go back to high school, if you guys remember this. Now, I'm going to age myself, and I love doing this because I know other people are around my same age. Does anybody remember the animation after school special? I don't want to give it away, but there was an animation with a song that taught us about the government.
The bill. Yeah. Yes, I know.
If you have not seen this, if you are of the new generation, go look up Animation Bill, and there's an entire song that a piece of paper will give you the entire history lesson of how the U.S. government is set up. There are 3 departments: legislative, executive, and administrative.
Judicial?
Am I right on this?
Judicial.
Judicial, that's it. Judicial, legislative, and executive. So, I want to reiterate something that I've been saying, that Trump will introduce something. And he even said it in an interview. I'm gonna try to fit that interview in, but he said it in an interview over the weekend. Oh, I could just sign an executive decision on that. And what did I tell you guys? He knows that the executive signature means nothing. And we've seen it play out that way. He just signs a piece of paper and the markets go crazy. And then the other two branches that keep everybody honest, the judicial branch, the courts will say, nope, unconstitutional. Or Congress will say, nope, not approved. He knows that there's a check and balance in place. But he makes everybody thinks that, oh, I did my job. I signed the executive order. And the craziest part is this, guys. Here's the craziest part. This new generation has no idea what the three branches are. They went to school just like we did, but we have the worst education system on the planet. Almost. All you got to do is watch these TikTok videos where people will interview people and ask them simple questions. They cannot pick out, they don't even know the difference between a continent, a country, and a city. Have you guys seen these people ask them, name 5 cities, name 5 countries?
When I
Las
asked
Vegas.
a young man how many branches of government, he told me 13.
13 colonies. And this is what I mean. They don't know how this works. So when Trump signs the executive order, oh, that should be it. They don't know that there's a check and balances, that the judicial and the legislative is going to keep all three branches honest. We know that. We know that he can't just sign away constitutional rights. We know we need a third majority of the House that has to approve it. And we know for a fact that the red hats, they don't look up anything. Have you seen their interviews on TikTok? These people don't know anything. They ain't picked up a book since their coloring book in elementary school. That's the last book that they picked up. Trump signs it, that makes it true. So just reiterating, guys, do not believe it until it goes through. What is the current law and the current policy?
You know, Aaron, I was thinking, as Trump is signing all these different executive orders, it's the perfect marketing plan because he gets to have the, I guess, glory of signing something, but but really the Constitution might be, showing otherwise. I was actually thinking about that with the birthright thing. Because actually I have to make sure I get a US passport soon because, they're going to challenge it and bring it to the Supreme Court and you never know how things might change. But, that law still, that part of the Constitution still stands. But he puts it out there like, hey, yeah, your birthright birthright, whatever, not privilege, but that, the fact that if your parent was, a naturalized citizen, that you have citizenship too, that might be in a rocky, place or whatever, when truly the Constitution has you covered for that.
Yep.
So
and you said it right because we've seen the Supreme Court backtrack on everything, going back to the civil rights, abortion, Roe versus Wade. They have reversed almost everything. So you are correct. We should be very cautious because we don't know if they're gonna, regress that too. We just don't know what's gonna happen. And we already know, we've already proven that the Supreme Court is on the take. They're on payroll. So, like I said, and I think you're right to kind of be cautious and kind of get things moving to make sure that, you're protecting yourself with all those things because we just don't know what's going to happen. But bottom line, perfect example, he signed the executive orders and two judges disputed it and knocked it out of the way. Nope, unconstitutional.
But
So he signed. Go Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
One thing I think you have to factor into all this stuff too when you say, hey, wait until you see actually what happens. Well, for some of these things, like when they decide to stop funding and then the judge says, no, you can't do that, it doesn't necessarily, or it's not in their interest to just, okay, well, we flipped the switch to turn it off. Now we're going to flip the switch to turn it back on. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen like that. And that's going to have an economic effect on things too. You know, they'll slow walk this thing. And that's where the rub is going to be is, okay, if they're basically going to say, make me do it, or I'm doing it, it's going to have a financial impact that could go months, maybe, depending on all of this stuff. So you got to factor that into place too. It's easy to stop it. And if they want to make it slow to turn it back on, that's what they're going to do.
I'm going to give you the perfect illustration to let you know what's happening. When a person is in a relationship with somebody that's abusive. Now, they don't know when they meet that person that they're abusive, right? So you know what the abusive person will do? They're going to test it. They're going to shove her first and see if she screams, see if she hollers, see if she, you can't do that to me. He's gonna like push her elbow. He's gonna push her shoulder. He's gonna grab her head very gently, but he wants to see how much he can get away with. And when she don't conflict with that much, 6 months later, he's punching her in the face. The abusive person is gonna keep testing how much he can get away with. That's what Trump's doing. When he signs the executive order, he's testing who's gonna conflict. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to keep disruption and
Who's gonna challenge
testing
me?
the water.
Yeah, who's gonna challenge me? Okay, yeah, that didn't work. Now here's the dual purpose, which I've already explained. Trump still gets to be the hero, and that's what Abena was talking about. He still gets to be the hero. Well, I tried. I signed the executive order, and people who don't know that there's 3 branches of government, they think that they're fighting against Trump. Now Trump is going completely against the Constitution, but Trump signed the executive order, and they're going against Trump. I can't believe they're doing that. But he comes out the hero. I tried. I signed the executive order, and he knew the executive order is not going to go through. He knows that when he's signing it.
Now, did he
So he
touch
gets.
the Bible on the inauguration? Because I didn't watch the inauguration.
Did he what?
Did he touch the Bible and say that he's gonna
No.
see?
No.
Yeah, that's why.
He refused. First president in history that refused to put his hand on the Bible when he took the oath. That lets you know right there.
predictably unpredictable.
Thank you. When I saw it, because I don't tune in. I'm not political. I'm not tuning in. But when I saw the article, he was not putting his hand on that Bible. I don't know if he thought that he gonna get struck by lightning or something he did in the past, or if he was planning for the future. I don't know. But that right there is a red flag.
He's not gonna
Right.
defend the Constitution, which was he's supposed to be doing.
And think about it. He can always say, "Well, I didn't put my hand on the Bible. I didn't take the oath. You can't get me for taking the oath. I didn't put my hand on that Bible."
Why would you touch somebody else's Bible that tried to put you in jail and talked about your kids?
Well, that's it. That's it. The oath itself, that's what treason comes from. All the stuff. You took the oath. The same way that a lawyer takes an oath and then they can disbar you. You see what I mean? He can always say, hey, you can't get me for that. I didn't put my hand on that Bible. When somebody
And
goes to go ahead.
he's so dumb that he actually think that not touching the Bible is not gonna it's gonna absolve him from that. It's
Thank
not.
you. It's not. But this is how he thinks, man.
Dumb.
And I'll give you an example. You used to have to put your hand on the Bible when you went to court. But what do they do now? Do you swear to tell the truth? There's no Bible, and you're still bound, and you can still commit perjury without ever putting your hand on the Bible. Because it's assumed that when you come to court, that's what's expected. But somewhere in his brain, oh no, I didn't take that oath. When you still said the words, yes, yes, yes. So it is what it is, guys. Like I said, this for me, this is a comic strip. This is a reality show. I sit back like a comedy, a dramedy, I guess you call it. And I just sit back, this is entertainment. Until it's serious, until something is implemented. That's when it gets serious. But as long as people are doing this kind of playing back and forth, to me, this is entertainment. This is like the Kardashians for me. Go ahead.
No, I was saying it seems like you like, okay, back in the school when you want to punk somebody, you like shrug your shoulders and you go forward and see if they jump. And that's really what it seems like he's doing it. Because he's, Trudeau jump, Major Blink or Major Jump, and Trudeau doing it, and Xi Jinping doing it, Panama's doing it, Mexico. He's making everybody jump or made them blink and flinch. Exactly. That's the word I'm looking for. And nothing's happening. And everything is just, smoke and mirrors. That's what even the articles where they're talking about where if you got too much business overseas with the tech company, this is what's causing it, the dollar's strength and all this speculation. So yeah, you're right. It's just really just a lot of smoke and mirrors. You can't really make any sense of it.
Yep. Now now let's talk about this very, very quickly, guys. So Trudeau, keep in mind, Trudeau dealt with Trump on his first term, right? And probably dealt with him a lot because, like I said, it's the strongest trade agreement that on the planet. So Trudeau knows Trump. And when Trump made that announcement or that statement 2 weeks ago, can you imagine if we brought Canada in as the 51st state? Everybody thought it was a joke. Trudeau knew it was not a joke. And I posted in a video in the student room where a Canadian lady, a Canadian woman says, why don't Americans understand what's going on? They don't, because we're not getting news. Like I said, you guys got to go to Global Talk or World Talk on TikTok to get that kind of news. But Canada is preparing for war. Do you guys understand this?
Yes.
Canada is preparing for war. They're expecting Trump to militarily try to take Canada. And that's why you saw Trudeau do a commercial on the Super Bowl. You saw the interview last week where he was talking to the American people. Well, he did a public service announcement. He basically echoed everything that he said in that interview on a Super Bowl commercial. $8 million for 30 seconds. He spent $8 million, and I don't know if it was 30 seconds or 1 minute. He spent $8 million for 30 seconds to talk to the American people. We are your ally. We are your strongest ally. So he's fighting this war on multiple fronts. Economically, he's retaliating with tariffs. He's talking to the American people to try to get them on his side. And he is preparing a military front in case Trump tries to go over there and take Canada by force. And I'm showing you this interview. He did an interview on Toronto Sun or Fox News. He did an interview on Fox News before the Super Bowl. And he even said it in the interview that he's willing to take action. And I don't know the exact word he used, but I'm going to post this video in the student room after this. Does anybody remember the wording that he gave? He's coming after Canada, bro. It's
all
not
I
a
know
joke.
was it.
Go ahead.
All I know, it was a great Super Bowl.
We'll talk about that in a minute too, because I want to talk about the worst Super Bowl halftime show ever. Ever. Michael Jackson and Prince are rolling over in their grave. Worst. No live band, no dance sequences, no fireworks, just a man on the mic. It was awful. Do
Hey,
you guys
Coach,
remember
but
the very first Super Bowl with Michael Jackson?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Do you guys remember when Prince was playing the guitar and the Prince made it rain? In the middle of the Purple Rain song, it started to rain. Dude, I don't know what that was. And I'm just looking at it like, really? And the new generation thought he slayed it. He killed. What? Because they've
yeah, I
never
thought I
seen,
was the only one that felt old watching it. I didn't even
like,
watch
what
it
is
because
this?
they knew the ratings were down. The marketing dollars are no longer there. But I wanted to go back with Trudeau because remember Trudeau's leaving office. What has he got to lose? He could
I
easily
know.
just throw up the double fingers, say whatever he wants, say
I
let's go to war.
know.
But the reality is he's got so much animosity within his old party. I'm like, well, whose army is he going to call?
I know. I was thinking the same thing. How far can he take this?
Your
Now,
ass out there.
the other part I was thinking of, could he backtrack leaving with such a, such a volatile time? And I think that might, I don't know if he was forced to leave, if he's leaving on his own volition. I don't know. But that's the first thing that came to my mind. How much can Trudeau really do? And is it going to transition over to whoever takes power after he leaves? Because the threat of the Trump threat is not going to go away. So I'm echoing what you were thinking as well. Does somebody else have a comment?
Nope.
All right, so so we got that out the way. I did want to introduce that like I said, I'm going to put this um in the student room so you guys can kind of watch it. It's like 7 minutes. Yeah, this is a 7 minute. I don't know if I'm going to put the 7 minute or the 45 second. The 45 second is direct that he specifically says he wants Canada as a 51st state, and I'm telling you, you got to look at the wording. I'm probably going to post both of these. I'm gonna post both of them, so you can watch the 45-second clip, and then if you want to watch the full like 7 minute clip, you can do either one. But just keep your eye on this, guys, because this is not going away. And like I said, it's just another causal sequence that we just watch it until something tangible comes out of it. All right, and I want to reiterate. I'm going to reiterate it every single time I do this because we get on the whole Trump conversation, and it looks like we're talking politics. This has nothing to do with politics. I can care less if it's red or blue. I can care less if it's liberal and conservative. I don't even know what these terms mean. I'm just looking at the geopolitics, trade agreements, laws, policies, conflicts, competition, you know, um, um, global supply chain. That's all I'm looking at. I do not do politics, but this is such a relevant topics and issues that's going to impact the stock market and the economy, and that's why we're going over it. And because Trump is constantly, you remember back in the last term with the Twitter, this man never left Twitter. 3 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. This man was always posting on. He always said something new, and he's doing the same thing. He's constantly driving the markets up and down with his statements. And now he's affecting the markets with his pen. He's letting his pen affect the markets. And I'm just trying to get you guys to back off of that. Don't get into that game. Don't play that game. Let everybody else speculate. Let everybody else react to the markets. We're going to sit back. We're going to wait for the dominoes and the causal sequence. And once we have something tangible, then we can predict. We don't speculate. We predict with certainty. All right. All right, guys. I appreciate your all of that. Now there was one more thing. Now let's go ahead and segue into what happened with the markets. This was Sunday night. The markets did drop that Friday. This was more so, I guess, Amazon. They had good numbers, but Amazon put out like a disclaimer on their future earnings. So Amazon dropped off. I think a couple of other corporations didn't meet their earnings, so the markets fell off. This also might be something dealing with the tariffs. We don't know, but you see another drop Sunday morning, and then it's rebuilt. This was all day Sunday. The markets kind of rebuilt on Sunday, and then it kind of leveled off into consolidation all day Sunday, and then here we are at. This is all last night. I'm trying to figure them. Here it is. The morning market started right here around 1 o'clock. This is 1:30. Markets still are moving, and this is where we start around 3. And I'm going to keep showing this to you guys because I still think that it's better to trade at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to keep showing you the same pattern. If any of you want to wake up in the middle of the night and trade this, you let me know how you did, even if it's simulation. But
Futures are individual stocks.
Yeah. Well, the futures are different from the spot. So even though the spot, and I have been showing that, I probably need to get back to showing the spot in the morning. But this is all futures, right? But you will see more consistent movements at like 2 or 3 in the morning when the European markets start. You don't see those strong ups and downs. You'll see a couple of them, but nothing major like you see in our market. But you do see that consistent rise. And here's what happens with me. When I see the markets give a really good rally overnight, I'm looking to see, what's happening, and I want to see if the markets are going to drop. Typically the markets will drop. Now, here's my thing. I've been telling you guys that the markets have been kind of stuck at the 44.
He left his key. I'm gonna tell him to make sure he keeps his keys on him.
Give me a second, guys.
He keeps them in the van. So when he keeps it in the van, you get the van keys.
Give me a second.
My bad. I didn't know.
I know.
I remember when I.
No.
There we go. So I've been trying to figure out where the real value of the markets is, and I've been telling you it's been sitting somewhere around 45 150, at least with the Dow Jones future market. It's been bouncing off that 45 150 for about 2 or 3 weeks now. And even when the markets were, because of the election, the markets went all the way up to like 46. But we finally discounted all of that, and we're back at about 45 150. That's where it's been. And every single time the markets go up to about 45 150, I now know that at some point it's going to fall back down. And it's consistently done that. But at this point, I'm introducing a whole new thing because the markets have rallied past. This weekend, the markets have rallied past. Let me share it again. We're now sitting at about 45 600. I think. Let me make sure. Is that 44 or 45? No, it's still 44. So like I said, we haven't gone up over it. It's still 44.6. But so that means that the 45 150 is still in play. The last time we went above it was back here. No. It did go above it. Well, no, it's still 44 900. So we still have not gone over the 45 150. That's still the cap. So I'm gonna reiterate it. When the markets go up to that 45 150, typically the markets will fall. I want you guys to see the overall pattern. Let me go to 1 month, and I can show it to you. See what I mean? The markets will go up to that, well, actually it's 45 200. That's the cap, 45 200. But we see the majority of it right here at that 150. You see what I mean about the 150? It'll keep bouncing off that 150. And when the markets cap out at the 150, it's overbought. And we see every single time the markets drop. So I'm showing you the overall range of the Dow Jones future. And I'm pretty sure you can go in and do the same thing for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. There is a cap where those markets are become overvalued. Now, when the markets does come that high, do not be in the markets. Because if you get in the markets when it's that high, you're in the butcher shop. I don't get in the markets. Once it goes over the 44,500, I'm out. I'm not in the markets because I know that I'm past the early entry. I want to see that market drop back down to about, and I even told you this last week. I want to see that market drop back down to like 44,300, 4,400, 43.7, anywhere in that 43, 44 range. I'm good. That's a reset, and it's a new early entry, and then we can now trade it back up to the 45, 150. Does this make sense?
It does. Aaron, do you use like any alerts, or do you just keep on watching it all the time when you're looking for that pullback?
I probably should put in the alerts. You're completely correct. And I'm glad you brought it up that, guys, you can use the alerts over here to the trading view. You can set alerts on the chart. So even what I just explained to you, thank you, Abena. You guys can lock in an alert. See, add an alert right here. So when the markets get to like I said, the 44,500, I can put in an alert at the 44,500, and once it hits that, it'll alert me, and I'm out. And then when the markets are above the 44,500, I can put in another alert down here at 4,400. So when the markets come back down, let me find 4,400. Here's 4,400. And then I can right click and put another alert. And then when the markets come back down to the 4,400, I now know I can get back in. Thank you, Abena. I should do that, but I have not been. But I do want you guys to kind of get into a habit of doing that. It'll give you better opportunities. The reason why I don't do it is because I'm kind of going back and forth between trading and doing all of this master class. So I'm out of the markets right now because I can't split my focus. I can't split my focus right now. I don't have time to really dedicate to the markets. But yeah, that's a really good suggestion for you guys to put in those alerts so you know exactly what the markets are doing. All right, but that's the price action, guys. Let's go ahead and do the challenge. And like I said, we're going to go over the 2 days that we missed over the weekend. I posted them, but I still want to review them on Monday. So let's go ahead and cancel that. Let me go ahead and share Saturday. Saturday was day 6. Like I said, we're not going to go over the whole thing, but I do just want to show you the highlights of it. So this is what we did, what we went over on Saturday. The assignment was a trading style. Give me a second. There we go. So the assignment was to make sure your style, like when you pick your style of trading, you want to select your philosophy, your ethics, your risk, right? You want to outline it and take out a piece of paper, and I'll give you an example. I don't trade pharmaceuticals. I don't trade medical. I don't trade insurance because there is an entire industry there where all of those industries are making people sick. They're pricing the drugs way too high. People are sick and dying because of insurance, medical, and drugs and even the food industry. So I don't want that blood money. There's so much other money. I told you guys that I'm not, Tesla is no longer a part. Ever since Elon Musk did that sign or that gesture, Tesla and Elon Musk is no longer on my radar. So you got to choose your philosophy, your ethics, your risk, right? That's your assignment. Go through and outline, and you want all of those things to impact your financial goals, your market beliefs, all of this kind of stuff. And I break it down step by step. So if you have not gone over this challenge on Saturday, day 6, go to my TikTok, Cheetah Investors. You can find it, or even Life IQ. Life IQ has the playlist. If you really want everything, go to my Life IQ on TikTok. You'll get the playlist. So you can sit down and do step 6, day 6, to make sure you're choosing your style of trading. All right. Now we're going to go into day 7. Give me a second. Day 7 was Sunday. Let me go ahead and share this. So day 7 is you're going to pick your advisors, your mentors, and you want to make sure your mentor matches your trading style. You want to make sure your mentor is trading the same markets that you want to, the same asset. All right. They should share your same philosophy, your same ethics, your same morality, the same market. Try to match it up as best as possible. You don't want to take advice from an option trader when you're trading futures. You don't want to take advice from a crypto trader if you want to trade commodities. They're not going to give you the right advice. Make sure your mentor is giving you the advice based on your philosophy, your style, and the market and the asset that you choose. All right, like I said, go through that step by step. You can find on Life IQ or Cheetah Investors on my TikTok. So now we're going to go into the next phase, which is today, and we're going to go ahead and go through this. You guys got any questions on that? Let me know. If you have not done those yet, like I said, go to my TikTok, and you'll be able to go through those days for Saturday and Sunday. I will not break. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to continue to move forward day for day. You just guys got to be disciplined. Take a couple of minutes. Do the Saturday. Do the Sunday. I'm going to try to have it posted by noon. Right? I sleep in a little bit, but I promise you they will be posted by noon for that Saturday and Sunday. So you can still do both of those. We're just going to do a quick review on Monday. All right. So let me go ahead and bring up today's. Day 8. Let me go ahead and share this. So today's, give me a second, let me make sure I got everything in place. We made it through the first 7 days. And I encourage you guys and commended you guys for making it to the 7th day. Because I promise you, there were people that try to do this challenge. They saw it on the social media. They saw it in us broadcasting here in the classroom. And like, oh yeah, man, that's perfect. I'm going to do that whole thing. And some of them didn't make it past day 2. Some of them didn't make it past day 5. So I commended you guys for making it past the first week, doing day 7, and here we are now in day 8. Day 8, we're looking for our startup strategy. And if you guys know, if you have been a part of my curriculum for the last 2 years, you know I have a custom startup strategy that will help you raise the capital to be able to trade effectively. So once again, the first week, we got your psychology in place. Going into this second week from day 8, every single thing that we do now is to help you build your trading capital. And then as we're building it, we're going to protect it to make sure we don't lose it. All right. So today we want to quote Alexander Elder. We already know that every single day we have an assignment, we have a goal, and that's based on a quote from either a billionaire trader, a multi-millionaire trader, or the coaching and advisors that are training the millionaires and billionaires. And once again, that is who Alexander Elder is. Professor of psychology and a world-renowned trading coach for the best of the best. And here's what he said. Alexander Elder, he says, a good trader watches his or her capital as successfully as a professional scuba diver watches his or her air supply. Let me say it again. Alexander Elder, he says, a good trader watches his or her capital as successfully as a professional scuba diver watches his or her air supply. That's how important your capital is. It is just as important as your breathing. If you stop breathing, you die. If you run out of capital, you die in the markets. So that's our goal. Build the capital while also protecting it, as important as air. So our daily assignment today is we're going to build a personal expense reduction plan. This is the first part of like a 5 or 6 part sequence, right? We're going to start off with our personal expense reduction plan. What is that, Aaron? What is a reduction plan? Well, let's go by a quote from another billionaire trader, Ed Seykota. And here's his quote. He says, the key to long-term survival and prosperity has a lot to do with the money management techniques incorporated in your technical system. So everybody should have a system. I'm teaching you a system. And built into our system is money management techniques. We're taking the advice from Ed Seykota. So have you previously had a money management built into your trading? Because that's what the billionaires are telling us that we should have. So one of the primary parts as we're building our capital is to have a reduction plan. And what is this? The reduction plan is going to allow you to go into your daily life, go into your budget, go into your finances, and you want to remove things that are not essential. And by removing those things that are not essential, you're going to be able to recoup all of that money. So go through your Netflix, go through your spending, go through your, I like going out to eat. I like shopping on Amazon. Go through a lot of the things that you're spending money on and do a reduction plan. Personal expense reduction plan. Get rid of the excess, and then you're going to recoup the excess. Let's show you how to do this. Step 1, you're going to assess your spending habits and financial outlook. And once again, we're going to quote another multimillionaire, financial expert, Robert Kiyosaki. And here's what he says. He said, it's not about how much money you make, but how much money you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. Let me say it again. Step 1 is based on a quote by Robert Kiyosaki. He said, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep, how hard that money works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. So, step 2, we want to calculate all of our bills and expenses. So, to properly and effectively trade, you need enough capital to survive the sequence of losses that's needed to reach profitability. We're all going to lose. That's a part of the game. But you got to have enough money to weather the losses until you get to a point where you're winning. All right? So if you're trading $10 at a time on Robinhood, you're never going to get there. Even if you're trading $200, $300, $500, you're going to run out of money before you get to a level of making profit. So that's what this entire sequence is. to get to a point where we can raise enough capital. I typically say about $3,000. And now you have enough money. I'm going to show you how to take that $3,000 and weather the losses and come out on the other side of this making money. All right. You want to create a plan to decrease bills and expenses to raise the necessary capital to trade. And you got to do it without the worry of losing your money too quickly. Let me say it for you again. The whole point of this sequence, today's daily assignment, is to come up with a plan where you're reducing your expenses, you're recouping all of that money, and we're going to come up with a savings plan, as we move forward, that's going to allow us to keep that money so we're ready to trade. Step 3, you want to determine your trading capital target. So you should have the amount of money that you want to save up. As I said, I usually say about $3,000. Now, let me give a caveat here. Because of our curriculum, I teach you how not to lose. And we're going to show you how to do that as we go through the 90-day masterclass. So I can tell you, bring in $3,000 because I know I'm going to keep your money safe for the entire duration where you won't lose it. But if you try to take that same $3,000 and try to trade another system, you're going to lose it very, very quickly. And all you got to do is go back to my previous assignment for last week. On day 6 and day 7, I told you to choose a philosophy, or part of that philosophy is your risk assessment. How much do I want to risk? So if you're choosing a decent risk assessment where you want to minimize your losses, then once again, you're going to be prepared to keep that money as you build it. Once again, if you try to use another system, $3,000 is not going to be enough because most people are not using that money management and they don't have that risk aversion where they only want to trade the lowest risk markets and the lowest risk assets. All right. But you choose your capital target, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, whatever it is. And now we're going to set goals to get that level of savings. Like I said, I'm going to walk you through this step by step this entire week. All right. Step 4. Once again, you want to cut expenses and recover that income. All right. In the coming days, you will create a budget and a savings plan to help you reach your savings goals. But first, you must find disposable income that you can recover from your lifestyle. Let's say it again. This is the whole point of this. Every single thing that we discuss over the next few days moving forward, your ultimate goal is to recover money that you don't need. You've paid all your bills, you paid all your expenses, and there's a level of money left over. You want to take a portion of that, if not the whole thing, and you want to put it in savings so you'll be able to trade effectively in the coming months. All right, go through your lifestyle. Step by step, we're going to show you how to do this. Here's the secret. Budgeting and allocating money is an ongoing task in the world of trading. So you need to learn the skill before you ever begin trading. The skill of saving money, because this is not going to ever stop. Sometimes you're going to lose the money. So you also have to have the skill of rebuilding the capital, right? So this is going to be an ongoing task and skill that you're going to need. All right. So it's an essential component, saving money, and then allocating that money back into your trading plan. You're never going to stop doing this. I don't care how much money you make. All right. Now, to make sure that you're using your capital in the best possible way, we're going to show you things also as you move forward that you can use that capital in different markets, low risk markets, different ways that you can use it without putting your money at risk in order for you to yield the best returns. All right. So go through this, guys. Take out a piece of paper, go through your finances. You may want to get a jump start. I'm still going to walk you through this step by step as we move forward. But if you truly want to get a head start, go through your finances, pull out your credit card statements, pull out your bank statements, get a head start on it. See exactly where you may have things that you don't actually need. And even if you've been trading before, you're currently trading real money. Like I said, this is an ongoing task. You always want to have a level of money coming from your paycheck coming into your trading. And no matter how much money you're making in the markets, you still want that influx of money coming from your paycheck. And I will let you know as we progress. I will let you know when you're going to cut off that flow of money from your lifestyle or your salary. There is a cutoff point, but we'll get to that sometime in the future. So I want to continue to encourage everybody to stay on task, guys. We're on day 8. Like I said, moving forward, this is the part where we show you how to build the capital, so you'll be able to trade effectively as we get to the end of the 30 days and the end of the 90 days. All right. If you are not a part of the masterclass yet, please get with me. I'm going to find a way. I don't know how we're going to do it. Please get with me. And I also wanted to give this also, which I haven't mentioned this before. You guys are seeing this 90-day masterclass. But keep this in mind, guys. You're not required to do the masterclass first. I want to make it available to you, but the beautiful part about it is you can start the masterclass whenever you want. We're doing it right now for the first time, but do not feel an obligation to do the masterclass immediately. If you can't afford the $1,200 for the masterclass, then limp in with the course. Just buy the course for now. And then I'm going to work with you and let you know, okay, I think you're ready now to go ahead and do the masterclass. But that's what this whole thing's about. You're not required to do the whole masterclass. I just want you to do the 30 days. So even when you start training with the course, you're still building your capital. You still have everything in place. So the 30-day challenge is essential, but the masterclass may not be. You may just want to limp in with the course, and then we'll get you to where you can start the masterclass. All right, just want to put that out there. You're not required to do the masterclass immediately. All right, we'll leave it there, guys. I appreciate everybody. Do we have any questions on this? I want to thank everybody. If you guys are still on YouTube, we're gonna continue this challenge tomorrow with day 9. If you guys have any questions, if you're a student already, if you're on my WhatsApp, come into WhatsApp, ask me any questions, students and non-students. If you want to join the community, if you want to get the course, if you want to get the masterclass, reach out to me. I will try to find a way to make it affordable for you. I'll do payment plans, but I want you guys to start this where we can change your life. You can be the main character of your own story. All right, so if you are interested in any of this, please let me know. All right, everybody on YouTube, guys, I want you guys to be safe. All right, don't lose money in the markets. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning around 7:45.